when I'm looking at refurb potential of a particular property, we've got to make sure that the local council standards are taken into account. So what I mean by that is room sizes, because the council might have set standards as far as kitchens, kitchens, living rooms and bedrooms to meet their standards, and also the amount of amenities that you provide. So that will be the number of sinks, the number of bathrooms, etc., to fulfil what their requirements are. So always check on the local council website as to what their requirements are before you start. The biggest mistake that new people make when they're refurbishing their first property is spending too much money. They look at the property as if they are going to live in there. It's what they want. It's often the case it's the first time they've refurbished a property for some time and they think, I would want this, I would want that. You've got to think of it as a business and provide the requirements that your tenants are going to need, but without overspending. To get the most out of an HMO as far as layout is concerned, you've got to think about where are the current amenities at the moment. So things like bathrooms, kitchen, where is your drainage? How many bathrooms and en-suites are you thinking about putting into the property? Because obviously it's going to be cheaper and easier if your drainage is in the similar position to where the current is. Walls can, on the whole, be moved. There's just a cost attached to those. So linking back to making sure that you get your room sizes right, you can often then come up with a layout that creates the right room sizes, as long as you understand what they are and where your current facilities are within the property. Communal areas in houses of multiple occupation, sort of from my personal perspective and in my opinion, I think they're extremely important, especially for my market, which is a professional market. They tend to spend an awful lot of time together within those areas, and so, you know, the bigger those areas are and the more facilities you provide, the better. There are some aspects of the market where it may be less important. You may have sharers that don't want to spend time necessarily socialising with other people, and therefore a larger bedroom and not necessarily a living room may suffice for them. Storage in HMOs is extremely important. What we need to remember is that all of the tenants that are renting a room literally have the majority of their life in the room. For an HMO to work properly, you don't want your shared areas to be full of all of the tenants' personal belongings. So by creating lots of storage space within the bedroom, whether it be wardrobes, beds with storage underneath, Ottoman-style beds, you will find that tenants will think that's a much better place for them to be able to live in. When it comes to laundry facilities, it actually depends on the property as to whether you can pop that in a separate space. If you can, it's much better than actually having it within maybe your communal living kitchen area, because it keeps the noise and the heat out of those areas where people are actually spending most of their time. But it's not always possible. So it doesn't have to be in a bad HMO if you do have your washing machine and tumble dryer within your kitchen. However, if you can pop it somewhere else, it's much better for all the tenants in the house. I always come from the angle that the tenant's safety is paramount, so we'll always refurbish to a higher fire standard than potentially my council will ask for, because it does then future-proof yourself should anything change. Also, it's a good selling aspect as well when it comes to selling rooms to people, that you're taking into account their safety. The other things that we need to think about when we're actually refurbishing is that some of the changes that you do might need building control sign-off, so you need to check whether that is required or not for your HMO to be compliant. Another aspect is CDM, that's Construction Design Management. It's about health and safety standards whilst the property is being refurbished. It's extremely important that you do follow the guidance under CDM when you're refurbishing your property to make sure it's compliant. Other aspects are from a gas and electrical point of view, is making sure that the builders that you use, or the electrician or the plumber, are either gas safe registered or Part P 17th edition and have the appropriate qualifications to do the job that you're asking them to.